Hello there, thanks for joining me this Monday. I'm Muhammad Ahmad Hamdan and these are tonight's top stories. More than 10 million of Malaysian workers are not protected by Social Security. Government to announce plans on reducing teachers' workload. And boy gets stuck in washing machine in Selangor. Hello, you're watching 7 Edition. About 13.7 million Malaysian workers are still not covered by any form of social security protection. This is about 62% out of the total of 22 million workers in the country. Only about 6.8 million workers have EPF and 1.7 million are government pensioners, while the rest are self-employed and freelancers. According to Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail, who revealed this today, the figure was alarming and the situation needs to be addressed. Dr. Sri Wan Azizah, who is also Women, Family and Community Development Minister, said that workers from vulnerable groups, such as persons with disabilities, older persons, housewives, children and others, should be protected.
I urge SOCSO to extend the coverage of Self-Employment Social Security Act to all platform workers of the new economy, while at the same time not forgetting workers in the informal sector too.
The Deputy Premier also called on social security administrations to use innovative approaches to sustain benefits and further extend coverage to enhance the quality of social security services. Dr. Wan Azizah said this when opening the 2018 Regional Social Security Forum for Asia and the Pacific of the International Social Security Association (ISSA) in Kuala Lumpur earlier today. The 3-day forum with the theme Excellence in Social Security, Enhancing Protection for Tomorrow's Society is being attended by 400 participants from 42 countries in the Asia-Pacific region. The Prime Minister said enforcement agencies such as the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, the MACC and the Royal Malaysia Police are handling too many cases and have had to set priorities. Speaking to Malaysian journalists before ending the second leg of his working visit to the United Kingdom, he cited cases related to the alleged misappropriation of government funds linked to former Prime Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Najib Tun Razak as a priority.
Saya bukan orangnya yang membuat siasatan. Siasatan dilakukan oleh pihak SPRM dan PDRM. Dan setakat ini mereka akan membuat siasatan. Tak perlu lapor kepada saya. Hanya akan bertindak melalui AG. Dan mereka sudah sampaikan maklumat kepada AG dan AG sedang jalankan tugasnya untuk mendakwa mereka melakukan kesalahan dalam mahkamah.
Dr. Mahathir added any action will have to be in accordance with the rule of law, and as such, the process will take time. When asked about his meeting with United Kingdom Cabinet Secretary Sir Mark Sedwill at Whitehall yesterday, he said the Malaysian government is considering whether it can implement the UK method of the authorities appointing senior government officers, as well as the action against terrorism. Now, Malaysia is on the recovery path and will subsequently have a good investment climate. According to Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, the country will be more conducive for investments after the recovery. Speaking to Malaysian journalists before ending his two-way working visit to the United Kingdom, the Premier brushed away suggestions that talks on a nation saddled with debts would scare investors away. On the contrary, he said that after meetings with foreign investors in the UK and telling them about efforts that are underway to repay the debts inherited from the previous government, the new government of Malaysia had become a pull factor for investors.
Pada mulanya mereka tak tahu apakah yang sedang berlaku dalam Malaysia. Jadi kita tekankan bahawa kerajaan baru ini mempunyai sikap yang positif terhadap pemulihan ekonomi negara dan mereka tidak perlu takut kepada melabur di Malaysia. Bila kita jelaskan hutang yang besar itu, memang ini mengejutkan mereka dan mereka menarik keluar pelaburan mereka. Tapi saya terangkan bahawa kita sudah berjaya mengurangkan beban hutang ini dan keadaan di Malaysia amat sesuai untuk pelaburan baru.
He also assured that Malaysia is a country which likes to be friendly with the private sector and recognises it as a key partner in nation building. The Prime Minister added the country's debts and the One Malaysia Development Berhad 1MDB scandal were featured prominently in his speeches, as it was necessary to explain that efforts are being taken by the new government to service the loans which would otherwise render the country bankrupt. Meanwhile, Tun Dr. Mahathir expressed confidence that Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim will win the Port Dickson parliamentary by-election on October 13th. The by-election is a seven-cornered contest, which also includes former Negeri Sembilan Menteri Besar, Tan Sri Muhammad Isa Abdul Samad, and Datuk Sri Anwar's former personal aide, Saiful Bukhari Azlan.
Jumlah yang begitu banyak bermakna pengundi akan berpecah. Dan bila pengundi berpecah, maka saya yakin kemenangan akan dicapai oleh Datuk Seri Anwar. Dia bertanding untuk memenuhi kursi yang dikosongkan. Jadi setelah dia menang, dia akan jadi ahli parlimen. Orang yang berpendapat dari segi moral dan sebagainya, iaitu kita tak boleh ambil kira. Kita ikut undang-undang dan undang-undang membenarkan seorang wakil rakyat letak jawatan dan bagi jalan kepada pihak yang lain.
The parliamentary seat was left vacant by its incumbent, Datuk Daniel Balagopal Abdullah, on September 12th, to pave the way for Datuk Sri Anwar to return to Parliament. The government will announce measures to lessen the administrative workload of teachers. At the SJKC Forum in Kuala Lumpur today, Education Minister Dr. Mazli Malik said the move is to return to an era where educators were passionate and took pride in their jobs. In August, the Education Minister said his ministry had set up a special committee to carry out a study to ease the burden of teachers.
This is where Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia, or the ministry, is trying to prepare a strategic plan to uplift the burden of the teachers, and they will present to me by December. I think there will be good news for teachers by early next year. They are trying all their best, my officers, my researchers, trying their best to study on how to uplift the burden of the teachers so that teachers wouldn't need to do all this clerical works anymore.
The report of the committee is to be submitted to the Cabinet for consideration and approval. Earlier in June, Dr. Mazli announced the discontinuation of a process called the Malaysian Education Quality Standard, which had increased the workload of teachers. Candidates contesting in the PKR polls cannot interfere in the party's Central Election Committee, JPP. After his campaign trail in Terengganu, PKR Deputy President Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali said they instead have the right to lodge complaints to facilitate a probe.
Sekiranya ada aduan, saya yakin JPP akan membuat siasatan. Dan ini bukan satu aduan, banyak aduan yang diterima dan biarlah mereka menyiasat dan membuat keputusan.
This comes after Party Vice President Rafizi Ramli called on the party's election committee to nullify the party election results in Labis, Johor, claiming that a member of the election committee had interfered in the process. Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin continued to lead in the race for the party's number 2 spot in Johor, with 4,503 votes compared with Rafizi's 3,976 votes. In other news, 2 men were sent to the gallows in 2 separate cases in Perak and Pahang for murdering their lovers. In Ipoh, the High Court passed the death sentence on N. Sandera Segaran after finding him guilty of killing his girlfriend 2 years ago. Judge Dato' Hashim Hamzah delivered the verdict on the 30-year-old unemployed man after scrutinizing the oral arguments by the defense and the prosecution. In passing judgment, Dato' Hashim said the defendant had deliberately fabricated a story by saying that he and the victim had been robbed by a group of men during the incident. According to the judge, if the incident had indeed taken place, the defendant would have sustained similar injuries, with the victim, 17-year-old, as Durga Devi. A probe, however, revealed that he only sustained minor ones compared to the 37 injuries on Durga Devi. In Temerloh, another unemployed man was given the death penalty by the High Court after he was convicted of murdering his girlfriend 3 years ago. Judicial Commissioner Dato' Hassan Abdul Ghani, in passing the sentence on Nurhalis Muhammad Zaid, ruled that the defense had failed to raise any reasonable doubts in the case. The 32-year-old was accused of murdering Nur Salwana Wahab on the second day of Aidil Fitri at a hotel in Selangor on July 17, 2015. Her body was found wrapped in a thick cloth after a car driven by the accused had crashed on the East Coast Highway near Kuantan the following day. The victim, a toll operator, was found in the front seat with an injury on the neck, while the car driver suffered a broken rib. Her body was taken to Jerantut Hospital. However, suspicion arose over the cause of her death as no external injuries were found on the body. In the meantime, a Syrian who made the KLIA 2 his home since March has been removed by police. 36-year-old Hassan Al-Kontar was picked up on Monday for being in a forbidden area of the airport.
Dan apa yang kita akan buat, kita akan terus laksanakan bersama-sama dengan kedutaan Syria untuk keluarkan dia daripada negara kita. Sebab dia ni, dia tak nak balik ke Syria. Dia orang Syria tak nak balik ke Syria. Katanya dia tidak mau jadi tentera di Syria.
Immigration Director General Datuk Sri Mustafa Ali said flight passengers with boarding passes at the boarding area are supposed to get on their flight. However, Hassan chose to remain in the forbidden area for nearly 6 months, surviving on donated airline meals and using the toilets in the area for washing. The 36-year-old made repeated appeals in a series of YouTube videos, lamenting that rights groups had refused to help him and no one would take him in.
Hello. So one of the main...
After a heavy storm wreaked havoc in parts of Subang and Klang, Selangor yesterday, Puchong was hit by a flash flood at around 5 p.m. today, putting traffic at a standstill. The flood near Setia Walk caused a more than 2-hour traffic jam from Wanutama to Puchong and a 1-hour halt on the opposite lane. Based on a video which has gone viral on social media, it appears hundreds of vehicles and road users are affected by the waist-deep floodwaters. According to Litruck Group, an emergency response team has been deployed to assist motorists stuck in the traffic jam. As of 6:07 p.m, the flood has receded and all lanes are now passable for traffic. When we return, man goes on smashing rampage over double parker. Don't go away. Welcome back. Now let's take a look at our daily segment Clickbait for what's trending and making rounds in the cyber world today. In what appears to be a prank gone wrong, a boy was left stuck inside a washing machine at a self-service laundrette in Bukit Sentosa, Rawang last night. It was alleged that the 12:30 a.m. incident occurred when the boy's uncle stuffed him inside the front-loading washing machine as a practical joke.
It was understood that the boy's mother, who was washing her clothes at the time, was initially unaware of the man's actions. The washing machine door suddenly became stuck and the boy was trapped inside the appliance for at least 10 minutes. The boy was eventually rescued from the contraption by several individuals who broke the door's glass with a hammer and pulled the child out of the machine. The incident was caught in a 2-minute 46-second-long video, which has since gone viral on social media with over 957,000 views. The laundrette's owner Hazmal Hassan said the boy's father had promised to pay for the damages. A police report was also lodged over the incident.
It's 2018, and while double parking isn't something new, leaving your car in that situation without leaving your phone number behind apparently is. Just last night, yet another video involving a double parked car went viral on Facebook, garnering over 150,000 views. That shows a frustrated man whose car was blocked, venting out violently. In the 2-minute video, which occurred in Lintas Square in Sabah, a silver Toyota Harrier can be seen parked right in front of a Toyota Land Cruiser. A middle-aged man, presumably the Land Cruiser driver, was hammering the Harrier's window using a tool while being watched by a number of people. A few seconds later, the alarm went off and some people came to pull up the handbrake as the driver was nowhere to be seen. Netizens were quick to react, with many taking the smashing man's side, commenting that he was a gentleman as he did not resort to smashing the rest of the car. Now, according to a report by Berita Harian, the PDRM has been alerted of this video and they are in the midst of authenticating it. If the incident is proven to have taken place, the case would be investigated under Section 427 of the Penal Code for causing damage, or Section 506 of the Penal Code for criminal intimidation. Well, it seems that just a small piece of paper with a phone number on it can make a big difference. So for our viewers out there, it's always better to play wise on the road, and especially at car parks. And now, updated as of 7 p.m, here are the top trending topics and searches on the internet today. Now, Petronas, together with its joint venture partners, have finalized the capital cost of LNG Canada, a major liquefied natural gas project in Kitimat, British Columbia, Canada. Its president and group chief executive officer Tan Sri Wan Zulkifli Wan Arifin said Petronas, via its wholly owned unit North Montney LNG Limited Partnership, owns a 25% share in the project. The other JV partners are Shell Canada Energy, PetroChina Canada, Diamond LNG Canada and CoGas Canada LNG, which collectively own the remaining 75% of the project. The project will be operated through LNG Canada Development Incorporated. It is the first LNG project in Canada and is poised to pave the way for Petronas to add value to its world-class natural gas resources in North Montney, as well as strengthen the Fortune 500 company's supply portfolio for LNG to the Asian markets. Now, Media Prima Berhad today announced the appointment of Mustafa Kamil Muhammad Jano as its News and Editorial Operations Executive Director. As Executive Director, Mustafa Kamil will be responsible for the overall operations of Media Prima's news and editorial functions. The group also announced that Mustafa Kamil had been appointed to the boards of System Television Malaysia Berhad, STMB, and the New Straits Times Press Malaysia Berhad, NSTP, effective today. Media Prima, in a statement, said he will provide the strategic direction and oversight of Media Prima television networks and NSTP news operations, and will focus on optimizing the group's news resources in line with Media Prima's business transformation efforts. 57-year-old Mustafa Kamil brings with him 26 years of experience in journalism. He began his career as a cadet reporter at NSTP in 1989 and held various positions in the company, including NSTP foreign correspondent in New York, Business Times managing editor, and the New Straits Times group editor until his resignation in May 2016. And up next, Wawrinka and Gasquet breeze through Japan Open. The details after the break. Don't go away. Onto the foreign front. In Indonesia, rescuers continue to dig through debris of the collapsed 7-story hotel Roa Roa on Tuesday in Palu, where 50 people were believed to be trapped after the hotel was brought down by 7.5 magnitude earthquake. So far, about 12 people have been recovered from the ruins. One of the bodies is that of a paragliding team member who was in Palu for a competition. Authorities have confirmed that the death toll has now risen to 1,234 from 844 in twin disasters in Palu City, Donggala region and the surrounding settlements on the island. Indonesia is in the ring of fire and has been rocked by earthquakes in recent months, including a major one and strong aftershocks on the island of Lombok that killed almost 600 in August. Sports tennis, the 2018 Japan Open, Switzerland's Stan Wawrinka and France's Richard Gasquet both advanced into the second round of the Japan Open in Tokyo after beating their respective opponents in their first round match today. The Swiss produced a controlled performance and managed to win 31 of his 32 first serve points against American Taylor Fritz. Wawrinka romped to a 6-3 victory in the first set before dispatching Fritz 6-4 in the second game, as well as breaking the American serve twice out of 6 opportunities. The former world number 3 will next face young Canadian Denis Shapovalov in the next round. In another match, Richard Gasquet also moved into the next round after beating American Denny Kudla in straight sets. Gasquet was pushed hard in the first set as he closed it out 7-6 before easily wrapping it up 6-3 in the second set. The Frenchman will play either Australian Nick Kyrgios or Japan's Yoshihito Nishioka in the next stage.
2 sets to love, 7-6, 6-3.
Now, after months of hype, all eyes turn to the 2018 Paris Motor Show today as Europe's biggest automakers finally unveiled their latest new models. Take a look at some of the highlights of the exhibition as we wrap up 7 edition this evening. I'm Muhammad Ahmad Hamdan. Thanks for tuning in and have a good night.